Why is free college for everybody such an absolutely terrible idea? Well, let's start with why is college so expensive today compared to, say, 20 years ago? The answer to that is the federal government stepped in and made student loans easy, so much more easy to access and grab onto. So that allowed and enabled the universities to bump the price of their college way up because cash was easy to get. And then students went, okay, college is a good idea. That's probably one of the reasons that in the 1970s, 15% of kids went on between 18 and 22 were in college, and now it's 50%. So there's a huge jump in the amount of kids going to college, probably because of the easy cash. So universities have absolutely zero accountability for what you get as a job to try to pay for your college education. So you hear so many people say, yeah, man, I got this college degree, and now I'm working at Starbucks pulling shots, and they complain about it. But if you think about it, if you get a degree for underwater basket weaving and the marketplace has very little to no desire for degrees in underwater basket weaving, well, then you should expect to pay for your 4-year degree through student loans or however else, but student loans make it easy. And then get into the marketplace and find no market for it. And is that the college's fault? Well, the college never makes any promises. They'll give you any degree you want. Underwater basket weaving is very low on demand in the marketplace, so very difficult to pay back your student loans when you get out. However, if you do something like an engineer, say in petroleum or something like that, there is super high demand for that. You go in, you get your 4-year degree, and you're paying your loans off like that because you're bouncing immediately into a 6-figure job. So with that in mind, prices are high now because the federal government stepped in and made student loans super easy to get. And you also combine the universities have absolutely no interest or liability for making sure that your degree that you get pays for itself. Well, what happens if you make college free? Well, it's not free. It's paid for by the taxpayers. I think a little interesting side note is if you poll people, hey, is free college a good idea? Almost everybody says, absolutely, let's do that. Everybody thinks, yeah, that sounds so wonderful for our kids. But then you say, well, what if we had to raise your taxes 10% to pay for free college for everybody? And then all of a sudden, the polls just fall to the ground. Nobody's interested in that, which, duh. Anywho, that's a little side note. So we've got college super expensive because federal government steps in and makes student loans super easy to get. Colleges have absolutely no accountability or reason to make sure that whatever degree you get pays for itself. So what happens when you make it free, taxpayer free, taxpayers paid for it? Well, then you get a situation where the university still has no reason to be accountable, still has no reason to make sure that your degree is actually going to pay you back for what you put into it. And then you have students who have absolutely no reason to choose a major or a career carefully because it's free. And so then you get a even more of a double whammy because students are still making bad choices right now because student loans are easy to get even though they go into debt. So just imagine when it's free, the terrible choices they'll be making as far as, if they're not looking to just go to college to think, but to get a return on their money and not going to debt that they can't pay back. That's something to think about. So what happens then if he just ran a red light, booger nugger. Okay, so what happens then if instead of making college free and instead of the federal government making student loans so easy to get, and then nobody cares if the students are able to pay it back or not with the job that they get as a result of all the debt, what if this doesn't ring politically exciting for the politicians running right now, but what if, with all the huge endowments that universities get, what if universities instead were the source of the college loan, the college education funding? What if they were then the ones that had to make sure that not only did you get a good education, but that you were able to pay back the loan when you went out into the workforce? What does that do? Well, all of a sudden the universities have a huge interest in making sure that the career choice that you choose and the studies that you study are going to have value in the marketplace. And with that value in the marketplace, then they're going to make sure that whatever they're sending you out into, you're going to be able to pay the university back. What a brilliant idea. Not super easy to get anymore. Nobody's accountant. There's no problem with the government not being accountable and the universities not being accountable. All of a sudden, the university's in business with you, the student. They're in there to make sure that what you get is going to be able to pay the loan back that you have at the university out in the workforce. What if there was a little bit of more accountability in the US of A? Wouldn't that be wonderful? So when you hear this stuff of free college education, just don't even worry about the fact that taxes would go up to pay for it, which we can't afford right now. We're already at 105% of GDP every year, which means we're tapped out regardless. So more taxes isn't the answer. But just think about what the quality of the education is going to be. Do we want a bunch of students going in to college and getting these worthless underwater basket weaving degrees and coming out as lame citizens in society? Or do we want them going in and getting quality educations that society values and will return a value to society? I vote for don't raise taxes, make the universities give out the loans with their huge endowments, and make the universities be in business with the student so that there's accountability and everybody wins. If the university makes good loans, they'll make profits and be even more profitable. The students will get jobs that are in high demand in society and get to training for those jobs. And society wins because we get what we need to grow and push forward and be a stronger, better society. So, free. That just delivers terrible returns. But if you put accountability on the university, and the university has a vested interest in the student succeeding, we will see a huge boom to our economy. We'll also see a huge boom to the value of a college education, which, even though more people are going to college now than ever before in our history, let's admit to ourselves the value of that education, since there's no accountability and focus of bringing value to the student and to society. I'd say it's at an all-time low. So like or follow up above if you want to hear more of this stuff. I made a vow to my buddy Charles that I was going to put out more nuggets of wisdom and ideas, and hope that you follow along and let me know what you think. Am I a jerk? Is it a great idea making the universities be in business with their students and have some accountability? I think it's brilliant, but of course, I'm the one that said it. So anyways, signing off for now. Drive carefully out there, folks.